Hey guys, Chris Dunn here, aka the Boogie Man. On this episode of Boogie Tech, this badass 421 23 degree small block. A few episodes back, we talked about sending our pistons off and having them coating. We're going to show you a little bit about that as I drop in this side of pistons and do some more work, and you're just going to sit here and kind of hang with me. And I'll tell you a few little tricks and stuff that I like to do that I've found that's really easy and cheap to mainly keeping the block clean, keeping stuff clean and whatnot. So stay tuned. Here we go. Let's roll. All right. Let's start with coating of the pistons. All right. Right here, number 4. Here's the coating that we had put on the pistons. Basically, this is a Teflon style coating. And what this does is, we bore and hone the cylinders to a certain size. We record that down, send these off to the coaters. The coaters build up this Teflon coating, right? So it's a little over. So as this piston, once we drop this in and we run this, these actual skirts will actually conform to the wall. That means that it's a perfect fit, which is pretty cool. And also when you coat pistons like this, you can run them a little tighter, because they'll run a little cooler. So that's pretty interesting. It's pretty neat. They did a good job. Look up line-to-line coatings. There's a place in Campobello, South Carolina. There's a place in Michigan. They do amazing work. Dead on. If you measure this with mics, it's dead on. Look them up. Great company. Very reasonable on the coatings. Like I said, look them up. They do more than just piston coatings. I think they do ceramic and like for headers and all kinds of things. So look them up. All right. First little tip that I'm going to give you guys is we're fixing to drop in the even side of the block, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Here is something that I figured out a few years back. A tack cloth, like the car painters use. It's kind of a sticky cloth. This is what they run all over your car right before they paint it to get any lint, trash, hair, and all that off. They're very cheap. You can go and get them at your local paint store. I love them because you can just take them and I just wipe right down through here, and you'll be able to see the stuff that it picks up. Just barely, lightly wipe over it. And I love it because it'll pick up stuff like that. It picks up all kinds of things. You can't, and they're cheap, So I always open up a new one. So when I'm putting my cylinders together, I'm putting my bearings in for my crank and stuff. These things, okay, it's just a tack. It's called a tack rag. Like I said, you can buy that at any local. Sherwin-Williams may sell them, but I know your car painter people, supply houses will sell them. So just remember, tack rag. It's perfect. Like you can go across the top here, pick up any lint, especially in here. Because, lint don't hurt an engine. Typically it'll filter out of the oil. But, cleaner the better. All right. So, y'all stay tuned. Kind of hang with me. I'm going to drop some pistons in. We're going to speed this process up a little bit. And then we're going to talk a little bit after we drop some pistons in. So, stay tuned, guys. Here we go. Okay guys, we're going to stop a minute here. I got the oil rings on, I got the wrist pin in, got the rod on. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick, and a lot of people probably already know this if you build your own engines. When I fit the rings, I'll just sit down and get me in a chair and take my time. And then I number the rings. This is number 2, which is what we're doing. This is number 2 top. I've got it marked that way. This is number 2 bottom, which is right here. One thing that you want to do, even after you've already filed them, or if you didn't even have to file them, you want to I just got a little bitty stone here, and I just kind of drag it over this edge. And basically, I'm just knocking off any kind of burr that might have got left on it. So, this is a good tip. This is actually a stone out of like a little honer, out of a honing tool. It works really good. That's about all you got to do. Make sure you clean it real good. Brake clean is your friend. I use brake clean to clean everything. That is good stuff. All right. So now, that ring, is ready to go. This is the bottom ring. So I put it on first. You know, basically, I always line my bottom up like that, and I line my top up the other way. So then, if you'll look again, number 2, top. So, because I file them different. I file one ring tighter than the other. So, I want to keep them separated. Plus, you know, there's a difference between your top ring and your bottom ring on the compression ring. So, always when you're taking these things out of the package, they're marked. You make sure you keep up with everything and let yourself know, you know, don't get them out of sequence because they're upside down or anything like that. These are Molly rings. Molly makes some of the best rings out there on the market. We appreciate them. They got a little M on top of them. The M goes to the top. That's all you got to remember, which makes it so nice and friendly. All right, guys. Get back with you here in just a minute. Let me drop some pistons in. Okay, guys, we've got our pistons in now. Everything looks good. We got to torque the rods. Another trick that I like using, Ronnie Sandhuff, that owns Sandhuff Shocks, or did own Sandhuff Shocks and designed Sandhuff Shocks, he put me onto this. Lots of times people oil up their cylinder walls. So I'll oil the oil ring, if you'll notice in the video. But once I do that, I usually just take some WD-40 and kind of just spray the wall after I put the piston in. And that just keeps a little light film on it. So when you crank it up, it's just got something, you know, to lubricate it just a little bit until it starts oiling. You know, and we prime all our engines up anyway. So, you know, I'll spend, you know, 30 minutes before it's over with priming it up. And we'll go from there before we even start it. So here we go. We're going to torque up the rods right quick. Some people stretch them. I like torquing them. I've got a ARP stretch gauge for stretching the bolts. I kind of don't use it. You do your homework. It's like 70 pounds on these rod bolts, on the 7/16 rod bolts. So I just do that. They've got a torque or they've got a stretch. So I like to torque them. And don't ask me why, I just do. And I usually set this down to about 45, 40, somewhere in there. 46 will work. And I just kind of go around and go ahead and go about halfway, you know, go to 46. And then I'll come back and do my 70. I like to go right up to 70, or my last torque. So that's pretty much, that's the deal. So going back to our coating, if you remember back in the other video, we talked about doing a ceramic coating on top of the dome. Well, we decided not to do it, and not for no reason except for we wasn't warm and fuzzy about it yet. We talked to the coaters, a lot of the forced induction guys use it. Use the coating on top of the dome. Not as much the naturally aspirated guys. So we don't know if there was a benefit to it, so we decided not to do it. That don't mean that there's no benefit to it. We just couldn't find nobody that could tell us there was a benefit to doing the tops of them. So we decided not to do it. Because we did the sides before. This engine here has them. This, by the way, is going to be our sick week and drag week engine, which is my old engine. Basically, same engine. Except this one's got a small cam core. This engine here is a 55mm cam, big cam core. And that's pretty much the difference. This engine here has a little bit more compression than that one. That's the reason that we want to use this one. So that's got a lot to do with why we're going to use it. Plus, I've got another set of All-Pro heads that's going to go on this engine over here that have never been cut, have never been shaved. So I can pretty much make the compression what we want. So that's what we're going to do there. And because we're actually going to drive this in using the same engine, and what we're going to try to do, which is possible of doing, see, these engines have such big cams in them that if you don't over rev them and you keep them under a certain RPM and you turn the timing down, you can run pump gas. And what we got to do is find out where we like that. Where does the pump gas and what timing does it like? Once we can figure that out, then we'll be good to go. And that's what we're going to do. So basically, we're going to turn the timing down with a dial and put pump gas in it, 93. And we're going to try and see if we can't get it to run on the street, which we feel like we can. We know some people that's doing it already for the drag week stuff. So, and they're making it work. So if they can do it, then I feel like we can do it. So we're excited. I'm more excited about sick week than I am the 8 mile racing right now. So I just like it. I think it's a challenge. So I'm so stoked about sick week. I can't even explain how excited I am about it. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're videoing this today just because I wanted to show y'all some tricks of stuff we do, and for the people that don't think that I build my engines in-house. So this is proof that we build our engines in-house. Let me phrase that. We assemble our engines in-house. We don't do none of our machine work in-house because, number one, we don't have the equipment to do that. So we go between C&W Machine and Clemens Race Engines in Spartanburg. And if you're a dirt track guy, you know who Clemens is. They do a lot of our stuff for us too. They do my head work also, like do my valve jobs and stuff like that. But we do all our intake machining and building in-house, and we do some, we send the porting out to Bobby McAllister. So we do as much in-house as possible. And I just can't invest in high-dollar machines for something that I can't make money. Sorry guys, my mic died on me there. I was worried about working instead of charging my mic up. Really didn't miss nothing here. I was just closing it out. Just be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Chris Dunn, a.k.a. the Boogeyman.